Hey folks, I'm real excited to set up this filter today. It's the Fluval C2 hang on the back filter. And we're going to unbox and set it up in just a second. Hey YouTube, this is Pecktec, and this is a filter I've been wanting to try for a really long time. It's by no means new though. It's been out for several years. And there's been a lot of other videos about it, but I'm going to do my own version of the unboxing and setup and kind of talk your way through the C2 filter. Funny thing about aquarium filters, like even though this isn't new, they don't change their products a lot. I mean, like the Fluval specs took a long time to come out with a brand new Fluval spec, and then the filters and the other things just sort of follow suit. Believe me, as a person that tries out new products on the internet, I wish there were new products more often. And there'll be a little bit more to talk about, I guess. I did purchase this filter at my local aquarium store. If you see this video and decide you'd like this filter, there's a link in the description where you can get one for yourself. Alright, we'll take a quick look at the packaging before we rip it asunder. Pretty basic stuff. Alright, describes the filter and how it works. This is kind of a unique filter. A little bit more complicated than your typical hang on the back filter, but let's take a look inside here. Let's see what we got. Package here. And the filter itself. And some instructions. That's a really neat looking filter. It's got a little tape here. Let's take that off. Before I get too far into the unboxing, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the C-Series filters, the whole series. Okay, so this is the 2. I don't know if there was ever a 1. I think they just skipped 1. They went straight to 2. After this, it's got a little bit bigger brother, the 3. And then they have a little bit bigger than that is the 4. This is the smallest. It's rated from 10 gallons to about 30 gallons. And my intention is to put this on my 10-gallon tank and replace this aquaponics thing behind me. I let it run for about a year or so, but I'm not entirely satisfied with it. I don't like the flow of the water. I wanted to try this out anyway. It was an easy choice to make. Now this filter boasts that it has 5-stage filtration. Let's break down those stages now. I'm going to take off this little lid off the front. There it goes. Whoop. And we'll pull this out first. Alright, now here are 2 of the stages. On one side, you've got sort of a coarse filter pad. And the next side, you have a fine filter pad. Now obviously, the bigger debris gets caught here. As that's filtered out and the finer stuff goes on through, it gets filtered by this. So here's 2 of the 5 stages right here. The mechanical. The next stage is all together here. One little compartment. This is the chemical stage, where you'd put the carbon or any other kind of supplement that you might want to include. You can also put more biological filtration stuff in here. If you want to get some maybe denser stuff that works a little bit better if it's submerged underwater, you can put that in here also. What I'm going to do, of course, is include the free carbon that it comes with, and then later on I might replace it with like biologicals, because I don't typically use carbon in my filter. It is handy to have a place, especially for carbon though, because at times you might want to remove a bad smell, or maybe you're adding some medicine and you want to try to work that out of the water, or maybe you've added a new piece of driftwood and you've got tons of tannins in your water. Those are all reasons to use carbon, and it's handy to have a compartment especially for that. And this is stage 3 of the filtration. Now sitting on top of the chemical filtration, we have a really, really tiny trickle chamber. Okay, and the top of this chamber is this pad here. This pad has 2 sides. One obviously has a texture, you know, it's really easy to tell the difference between these 2 sides. This side goes down, right on top of the handle. This is an area for beneficial bacteria to develop. In here, you're going to put those ceramic pieces of media, that porous media that the biological stuff sticks to as it passes through. Now, for optimal growth, many filters utilize some sort of mechanism to incorporate air and water together. So it's really wet, but occasionally some oxygen gets in. That's sort of the whole principle behind the bio wheel that Marineland puts out. And I've got quite a few filters with bio wheels on them. Some people really like them, and some people just think that they're junk. But I gotta tell you, I've cycled tanks just by switching those bio wheels around, and it's a beautiful thing. So anyway, the principle is the water's gonna trickle through here. This won't be completely submerged. It'll be just kind of have some water thrown on it, and then it works its way out the bottom, then eventually on into your tank. Water's clean. So this is stage 4, and inside here is stage 5. So there's their 5 stages of filtration. Now the body of the filter itself, when you take all this stuff out of it, looks a lot like an AquaClear filter. It's really pretty basic. One thing of note on the side here is that you can twist off the motor. It comes right off. That makes it so much easier to clean. You don't have to pull it all the way out. Of course, you want to drain this, make sure this doesn't have water in it. But you can pull this off. From here, you can pull out the impeller. This is the only moving part in your filter. And every time you hear a rattle or something like that, look here, my friend. This is real easy to pull out this way, and so you can clean it, do some maintenance. I saw at least one video where a person said that it was a little loud, and so they put a little bit of petroleum jelly on there to make it a little bit quieter. I'm not sure I'm going to do that. You know, and that's something else to bring up too. All filters are a little bit louder when you first start them out. I find that if you just are patient and you give them maybe a week or more to settle in, sometimes they're making a lot of noise and you got to deal with it. Other times you can let it set, and as the slime sort of develops, it fixes itself. It'll quiet right down. This is the box that it came with. Take a look inside this box, and oh, here's the carbon. All right, this is the carbon I was talking about earlier, and before you use this once, you're going to want to rinse this out, probably in some aquarium water or something. Just pull out some water, just give this a quick rinse, otherwise it gets real dusty. Same's true with this. Obviously, probably don't put it in chlorine. And what's interesting is this doesn't come in a little baggie or anything like a lot of all their other filters they've included it inside of a bag to kind of keep it all together. This is just an open bag, so this just pours right in here. I should rinse this out, but yeah, a lot of debris. See, and that's how it fits in there. Just enough to fill up that little chamber, which is cool. What also is cool is that you can add whatever kind of biological stuff you want. So if like their product isn't your favorite, you can add your favorite product in there. And you can always kind of augment this to your purposes. The other thing it includes is the intake tube, which is ribbed so that you can trim it to the size you need it. It also includes this little doohickey right here, which fits on the bottom of the filter and actually helps you keep it stable, so you can use it to kind of turn it and flush your filter up a little bit more at the back of your tank. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is rinse out this carbon, these pads, and this biological stuff, and get it ready to set up. All right, so I got my filter media all rinsed out, and it is time to reassemble. I'm just going to go backwards here. It's also interesting that they have different components, like different areas for the different components. That makes it a little simpler if you just want to pull out your sponge filter. And another thing I wanted to mention too is this actually has a little indicator here. This thing will pop up. This has a little switch here that probably works by water pressure. That'll pop up and let you know that this filter is getting clogged. So that's another little thing that I've never seen on a hang on the back filter. Put that right here. Next I'm going to take the activated carbon and I'm going to put this in its little chamber here. I've rinsed it out and it's ready to go. Slide it down here. And the last stuff is the biological. I also rinsed this out with some dechlorinated water. But I'm going to do one more thing before I add this in. I'm going to take a little bit of this Fluval Cycle. I actually used it to help cycle an aquarium in my quarantine tank recently when I bought my fish. I'm going to add, okay. I'm going to go ahead and insert this thing. Right, that's really interesting. When you put this in, you can really see it. So there's a little spout right here, which shoots the water over the top of this, trickles down through, and as you can see, exits this way and comes out. Very clever. Very clever indeed. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a little bit of a dose inside. Give it a little bit of a helping hand. Just kind of get the process rolling there. The next thing is the extension tube. Now, I was wrong. I assumed that you would cut this, but look what they did. This is so nice. So much better than normal. Look, just clicks into place. I like that so much better because I can change my mind later. If you have to cut it off, like you do on so many of them, if they're too long, you just cut it off, or you take the end of it off and you put it on the end of the tube. With this, it just goes in like that. Pretty easy to make adjustments in or out. I'm going to take it all the way up. So it's a pretty... Yeah, that'll work. This goes right into here, like so. This has an adjustment right here where you can actually adjust the flow of the water. It just brings it a little bit more or less in front of this motor underneath. And of course the filter pad goes back on top. I've heard a lot of reports that this can actually clog really easily. So I'm not sure if I'll continue to use this past a few weeks, but I'm going to try it out at first and see if I like it. Goes right on top. Then the anti-evaporation splash shield goes on top of there. Alright, and the last part, of course, is this little doohickey here, which fits right. There's a little circle right here, fits right on there. And you can, like I said, you can use this to kind of keep it from being too loose. If it gets a little loose in the back of your tank, you can move this up and make it a little bit more flush. Cool looking little filter. I can't wait to install it. I don't have to, I'm about to. Okay folks, here's a look at the filter I'm replacing. I've had this running for quite a long time. Here's the upload date from the video that I made about it before. And it is doing okay. It's kind of a pain in the ass to clean. You really have to remove the entire thing to clean the little sponge that's inside there. These things grow okay, but they haven't done terrific even putting it in front of a window. I'm really looking to just swap this out. I want to replace it with a C2 filter. Okay, so even though I'm replacing this filter, I'm not going to replace it right away. Instead, what I'm going to do is run this filter alongside it. Good, it fits in there great. I'm going to adjust the little back part. See, there's a little bit of a play right there. I'm going to take the little piece, that last piece that I put on, I'm going to twist it a little bit. Now it's nice and tight. Not super tight, but tight enough not to move around a whole lot. Alright, now it's nice and stable, and we can prime it. Okay, so before you plug it in, it's essential that you prime the pump, and all that means is that you're going to add some water from your aquarium into this back chamber here, where the spout is, just above the motor. That provides suction and allows the water to come up through here. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the lowest setting. Get it started off. The water's being sucked up the pipe right now. Then when you hear that, it's moving right through the filter. You can definitely hear a rattle there. That's the new filter sound. Hopefully that'll go away soon. Ooh, I just turned up the water flow. They all make a lot of sounds when you first turn them on, but when they're new, they make even more, a little bit rattly. I'm going to turn this back down since the other filter's running too. This has almost no flow whatsoever, so I don't think this little bit extra is going to hurt. Wow, and you can really see there's a little bit of, there's a spout right here, and it just kind of pours a little bit over the top. Just kind of collects here, then trickles down through the filter, and then back out through there. Really, really smart design for a trickle filter. And of course, all of these parts do come out while the thing's running, but obviously won't help you much that way. That's pretty much it for the setup. Alright, so as you can see, it obviously takes up a much smaller amount of space than this thing does. I know it's going to do super well because it's rated for way over what this aquarium is. This supposedly will work on up to a 30-gallon tank. I probably would put it on up to a 20-gallon tank. I'd say 10 to 20 gallons would be your best bet with that. Hopefully my rams will dig it. Might take them a little while to get used to this new water flow in there. But, yeah, it can't hurt, right? Wow, that's done. Oh, I almost forgot. It comes with instructions. You don't need those, you got me. That's it for the Fluval C2. My initial impression is that I'm impressed with the way it separates all these different stages that you can pull out. A lot of the parts of the filter are things that you can rinse out. You don't necessarily have to replace once a month. I hate it when they bundle the carbon with the mechanical filtration, when they package it all together in something that you got to replace once a month, because that's not necessarily true. You can rinse out those things and use them a lot longer. So really in this, you got your fine filter pad, which you probably would have to replace every so often, depending on the amount of waste in your tank. You know, if you got a tank that's like real sludgy, you know, you're gonna have to replace that fine filter pad. And of course there's the carbon, which I don't really use. I'll probably replace that with biological material at some point. And that's all for the Fluval C2. Okay, so I wanted to tell you a little bit about some stuff I got going on this month. It's of course October now, and I thought it would be really cool to make a Walking Dead aquarium, so I've made this ornament. It's sort of like the hand. I wanted to do the hand, but I had a very small amount of space. So this is a mold of my hand. And I'm gonna show you how I made it. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna do an episode that's just about the hand, or do that along with another part, make a really long Walking Dead aquarium video. What do you guys think? Walking Dead tank. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down this tank right here, the Fluval Flora. They're now discontinued. I actually have two of them. One's at work and I need to break it down too. So I'm gonna break it down and bring it home, and I'll either replace it here or I'll use this tank, and we're gonna redo it and make a Walking Dead aquarium. I've got a little bit of more work to do on this thing, obviously, but that's coming up. Now the plan is to have the Walking Dead aquarium done by the October 31st, and that's a Monday. So that Sunday video, October 30th, should be the Walking Dead aquarium video, if I can get it done. The other thing I've got going on is I got Catfish Con coming up in like 2 weeks, so I'm gonna have some convention coverage. So what I'll probably do is do an initial thing about the convention, and then any interviews I get from there, anything else I pick up from there, and hopefully the catfish game that I'll do there. That will continue on in the next couple of weeks, so that'll probably be November videos. And somewhere in there, there's a My Aquarium box to do. So I got a lot of stuff coming up for you real soon. The other thing I wanted to mention is that Pecktec Air is in full effect. I've got 5 drone adventures up there right now, including Knoxville's favorite disco ball, which I decided to cruise around a little bit. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, there'll be a link in the description for Pecktec Air. Be sure to check it out. That's all I got for you this week. Until next time, follow your bliss and keep a clean tank. I'll see you soon. Hey YouTube, this is... It's also interesting... This is a filter I've been wanting to try for... Ooh, now this isn't by... Just let that fall. Let it fall over the table. I'm so bad at this. This little biological filter pad. I purchased this filter at my local fish shop. You guys, I'm going to be at Catfish Con. I think that's in 2 weeks. It's like in 2 weeks. Damn it.